I missed my bus that morning, and I didn't know that a few seconds of bad luck were actually the beginning of something that would change my entire life. If I hadn't stopped to tie my shoe, if the driver hadn't shut the door a second earlier, if I hadn't turned back in frustration, I never would have met her. Funny how the smallest delays can reroute your whole destiny. The day began like any other. Rushed, noisy, and tired. I was late for work again, second time that week, and my boss had already warned me that another delay might cost me my job. So, when I saw the bus pulling up at the corner, my heart raced. I ran as fast as I could, my bag swinging wildly, but just as I reached the doors, the bus hissed, shut tight, and rolled away. I remember standing there, out of breath, my hand raised in vain. The street felt unusually quiet after it left, as if the world paused for a moment just to mock me. That's when I heard a voice behind me. Missed it too? I turned around and saw her, a girl about my age, holding a paper cup of coffee and laughing softly, as if missing the bus was no big deal. She had messy hair tied in a loose bun, a gray coat, and the kind of eyes that looked like they'd seen both storms and sunrises. Yeah, I sighed, trying to hide my frustration. And I might lose my job for it. She tilted her head. Or maybe it's just the universe telling you to slow down. Something about the calm in her voice made me stop pacing. She offered me a sip of her coffee, joking that it might heal broken mornings, and we both laughed. Her name was Maya. She worked at a small bookstore 2 blocks away, the kind of place I'd passed 100 times but never noticed. Since the next bus wasn't due for 40 minutes, she suggested we walk together, just to make the wait less boring. I didn't know then that this walk would become one of the most meaningful detours of my life. As we walked, she talked about how she loved finding beauty in ordinary things, like old book pages, strangers' smiles, or the sound of rain against windows. I, on the other hand, admitted that my life had become a loop of deadlines and bills. She listened, really listened, in a way that made me feel seen for the first time in a long while. Before I knew it, we'd reached her bookstore. She invited me in, just for 5 minutes, to show me her favorite corner, a shelf filled with forgotten novels and scribbled notes from people who used to own them. I don't know why, but I stayed. Time seemed to slow there. It smelled like coffee, paper, and peace. When I finally left, I was late for work, and yes, my boss scolded me. But something felt different inside me, like I had taken a breath I didn't know I'd been holding for years. Days passed. I started missing the bus more often, on purpose. I told myself it was coincidence, but deep down, I knew I was hoping to see her again. And every time, she was there, with 2 cups of coffee this time. We'd talk about dreams, regrets, books, music, everything. Slowly, the mornings that once felt stressful became something I looked forward to, and then came the day when she wasn't there. I waited. 5 minutes. 10. An hour. No Maya. The bookstore was closed, a handwritten sign on the door, family emergency. Be back soon. My chest felt heavy in a way that surprised me. I didn't realize how much she'd come to mean to me until that morning. She was gone. For 2 weeks, she didn't come back. Every bus I missed after that felt empty. Until one morning, I saw her again, tired, pale, but smiling. I didn't ask anything, she just looked at me and said, "I'm okay now." Then she hugged me, right there at the bus stop, as if I'd been someone she'd needed more than words could explain. And from then on, we stopped waiting for buses. We'd walk together every morning, no matter the weather, sometimes talking, sometimes silent, but always side by side. Months later, when she told me she was leaving the city to start a new bookstore near the coast, my heart sank. She asked me to visit sometime, but the way she said it, it felt like goodbye. I helped her pack, and on her last morning, she handed me an old paperback with a note inside. Sometimes missing one bus is how you find where you're meant to go. It's been 3 years now. I still have that book. And every morning, when I walk past the same stop, I smile. Because missing that bus didn't just make me late for work, it made me arrive exactly where I was supposed to be. As some stories don't start with perfect timing. They start with a moment that feels like everything's falling apart, until you realize it's all falling into place.